Good afternoon and welcome to the Joy Show. Joy is an acronym for just one you, and here we support and acknowledge the unique nature of each individual. I'm so excited to be with you today, and I would like to start with the land acknowledgement. I am honored, and we are honored to work, live, and play within the city of Toronto on the historical and traditional territory of many Indigenous nations, including the Anishinaabe and Wendat peoples, and more recently, the Mississaugas of the Credit and Haudenosaunee nations. And we acknowledge the diverse First Nation, Métis, and Inuit people from across Turtle Island. And by making this acknowledgement, we strive to be allies and take an active part in reconciliation by honoring the land, the history, and the unique Indigenous heritage of our First People. This fosters our commitment to the recommendations set forth by the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. We recognize our oneness, we realize our history, and we choose to create a new reality. We are one. Well, my guest today is a young woman who has done a lot in her years already, which is remarkable. She's from Uganda, and she has been working for over a decade with women, girls, and youth. Her name is Jackline. I'm probably not going to say this correctly. My apologies. Kemigisha, and she works with different people living with HIV as well. Motivational speaker, has lived experiences that have been interesting for most people. She is an activist and is an advocate for many people, and she has been here just a very short time, had to leave her children in Uganda as she came here to get a new home and a new life, and hopefully her children will be able to join her soon. So welcome, Jackline. Jackie.
Thank
How
you.
are you? Okay, how do I pronounce your last name again? Kemigisha?
Kemigisha.
Kemigisha. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I should have spelled it out phonetically. That would help. So tell me a little bit about your journey and why it is that you are such an advocate for women and youth. What compels you to do that work?
My name is Kemigisha Jackline, and I come from Uganda. And right now I'm living in Toronto. And thank you for the question. I'm 38 years now, and I've been working around children, youth, and women since 2008.
Mm-hmm.
And I have two boys. One is 1 year, another one 4 years. But they are back in Uganda. And I've been an advocate since 2008, and I've been promoting and contributing to programs and services that affect their lives. I have been working on fundraising for some of the programs. I've been doing youth counseling. I've been talking to women who are going through different challenges, like some of them which I went through. So I've been empowering many people, especially the young people, because that is most of the work that I've done, almost all my youth. And I've been to different countries trying to support the youth there because of what they have seen me doing in my country. So the people who have been inviting me to different countries have been basing on what I've been doing in Uganda.
Okay, can you share a little bit?
And how I have impacted on the youth that are in Uganda. So basically, that's why.
Okay, and can you share what your experience was and how you got to Canada at this time? Like, can you share what that journey and a little bit of your personal history is?
My life has not been an easy one because I was left when I was 11 months. by my mom, and of course she went to look for another life where she got married and settled in her marriage. So me, I grew up with my grandmother, who took care of me as a mother, as her own child, together with her other children. So actually, most of them call me their sister. They call me their last born because I grew up with them, and they are the ones I know as my family. That is my grandmother's children.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and actually that's where I can be and feel I'm at home. Neither feeling at home when I'm at my father's home or my mother's home. So I feel at home when I'm at my grandmother's home. So I grew up with my grandmother. When I finished T7, I was taken to my father. And of course, growing up with a stepmother, especially around that age of adolescence, it is not easy. At that age, normally young people want to be with someone who can direct them the right way, who can guide them, who can protect them, who can be there for them. But that was actually the time I was almost left alone because I would fear my father. At the same time, I would not talk to my mother. I would not tell my stepmother about something personal because I used to fear her so much. So it brought up a feeling. I grew up with that feeling of loneliness, and I went through so many challenges, which would have been avoided if I was with my parents.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and some of those challenges are the reasons as to why I'm here today, because I I went through some hard times, rapes, stigma, a lot of rejection, but all that I went through didn't. I don't know why, but nothing put me down to feel like I can never go forward in life. Instead,
Good.
all I looked at was how do I make my life better so that I can be exemplary to the rest of the world and the rest of the children who are growing up like me. Yeah, I think that passion is the one that keeps me going, and it's one of the reasons that I'm here today. Because if I had given up, I don't think I would even have a thought of coming to any country. Yeah,
Of course not. So, what brought you to Canada? Because you just arrived this summer, correct? Is that right?
August.
August. Yeah, that's what I thought. So, why now? Why did you come to Canada now?
There are different challenges that I was going through, and some of them are personal, others are general. And having children when you and the father of the children is not there for you.
Mhm.
So sometimes I looked at the children and I was like, how will these children grow up, especially without school? Because mainly I was like, I didn't even have any money to take my baby in baby class. The money to begin my baby to go to school here at baby class, I didn't even have that money.
Right.
That is one of the reasons that forced me to look for a way out, because I wanted my children to have a better life. I wanted my children to grow up like other children, to have all the basic needs.
Mhm.
So that was one of the reasons. Because being a single mother and taking care of two children, it is, and when you don't have a stable job that you really see is a job that can take care of you, it is really challenging.
Yeah, it is for sure. Now, did you go to university?
Yes.
What did you
After
study?
when I finished Form 6, life at home was extremely hard, and I was like, instead of die, because there was a time when even eating food was a problem at home. So
Yeah.
I decided to leave home since now I felt I could handle. I was old enough to handle my own situation. I decided to leave home and went and to look for life, and that is where I actually happened to look for different small jobs that I was doing, and I took myself to the university. I paid for myself a diploma. I finished it, and when I was going to begin my degree, that's when I got someone who saw that I was very passionate about education, very passionate about the youth, very passionate um, about women, and that's when that person offered to pay for me. So he offered me a scholarship to study my degree. So
Oh,
I did a diploma in finance, and I've done a degree in social work and social administration.
wow. Good for you. Whoa. More than I've done. I
Yeah.
studied journalism in college, so it's a little bit
Ah.
different.
No wonder you're passionate about it.
Yeah,
And
exactly. So, how are you finding life here? You know, it's still really new. You've got lots to do to get your immigration status and whatnot. So, what's it like right now for you?
life is very promising now. It's very optimistic. I really feel like even if I've not yet got a job, but I feel my life is going to be okay. It is going to stabilize, and I'm going to achieve all my dreams because I see them just ahead of me, just a few steps ahead of me, which was not the case back in Uganda. Because I had lost all the hope. I had applied everywhere. Jobs in Uganda are very scarce, and even when you get one, it does not sustain you.
Right.
Yeah, so but now I really see that there is a future. Before, I really saw that there is no future for me, no future for my children, but now I'm very, very optimistic to life.
Well, that's exciting. I can't believe you're 38. That surprised me when you said that because I was thinking you were probably about 28. So,
Thank you.
so um, when you're working with women who've gone through similar challenges that you've gone through, what is it that you bring that helps to inspire them to have hope for something better?
I normally share my life experience, and I'm like, if I was able to do this, because that's in Africa, most people think that a girl cannot pay their own school fees. There has to be a sugar daddy somewhere paying for her. There has to be someone supporting her. But I
Yeah,
stood up on my own, and I was like, no, I have to find a way. Anyway, I don't even know what kind of power was in me, because in most cases, when most young women face the challenges I was going through, all they think about is marriage. They think that
right.
when they get married, the problems will be solved. They think when they get maybe a sugar daddy or someone that is going to be involved sexually, they think that's when their problems will be solved. But that wasn't my case. I think also the Spirit of God was leading me because at that age, I was also prone like any other young girl, because so many men would come around and they would tell me stuff, but my passion was education, and that's what saved me.
Good for you. That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
so I normally tell the women that never give up. If you have a dream you want to achieve, go for it, because if so and so has achieved it, why not you? And that's what kept me moving. I was
That's
like, I would look at the role models. Like, one of my role models is actually my grandmother.
of course, yeah.
Yeah, I could look at her and I'm like, she has a special way of handling issues. She has a special way of making decisions. And once she makes a decision, that's it. No one can change her. So I used to admire her and the strength the resilience and strength, because she was a widow at that age, at that time, and how she handled all the children and all the family issues alone. I used to admire her, and up to now, she's my very strong role model that I have in my life. Then I would look at other women who are making it, like my mentor back home. She's called Flavia Chumkama. She's
Mhm.
my mentor, and I used to look at her. I see the strength in her. I see the passion, and I really wanted to be like her. I could keep asking her, how can I do this? How can I do that? So she's actually the one who made me speak up. She's the one who brought me into public space, because I was someone who was very, very quiet, because I think because of how I was being brought up.
Probably, yeah. Yeah.
And I'm someone who grew up when at my father's place, everybody used to think that I can never be anything in life. I don't know why they used to say such negative statements to me, but every time I would try something, even if you try how, you will never be anything in life. So, but that kept giving me a question: why is it that everybody thinks I can never be anything? But they thought I would never be anything, but instead I have become everything.
Good for you. Well, and I think, isn't it, is it still the case in Uganda where, women are considered sort of lower than men, like somehow, like even being educated is not necessary for women? Is that the case, or?
Yeah, to some homes, but to some others, people have become enlightened. But to some
Yeah.
homes, like where I was coming from, all my sisters and brothers have graduated through the
Mhm.
university. They are working with government, but because I was a stepchild, that's why I was never welcomed and treated like any other child in the home.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
unfortunate when that happens because that really leaves a mark on a child. But you have used it to create something great.
yes.
Not everybody
And I
does.
wish I wish all women were like that. If all of
Me
us could
too.
have that kind of resilience,
Yeah.
we would make sorry, we would make the world a better place. Because a home can never be a home unless it has a woman in it.
I agree. I agree. It takes that
Yeah,
that
there are homes.
peace
There are
energy.
homes that will be a home. Okay, people make homes. But when a woman is behind that home, it looks different from when it is a man or is someone who is single.
Yeah.
They,
Yeah.
God gave us a special way of treating things. So naturally, it is a natural force that we use that we don't know how we do it also.
Well, it's true. So what about your spirituality? You've sort of alluded to it a little bit.
Mm.
What is it about your relationship to God that has assisted you in being as strong as you are?
I think He's the only reason why I'm still alive. And
Okay.
every decision I make, I normally have to first put Him first,
Go to
because
prayer.
God has been there for me in all ways, and He has opened doors for me, and I have seen many things happening in my life because I have given Him my life, and He's the one who is leading each and every decision that I make.
Okay. So your spiritual practice and everything is really essential to your well-being overall.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. That's
Mm.
awesome. That's awesome. Now, since you've been here, I know you're doing some volunteer work. Uh, well, you're not able to look for work quite yet, correct?
Yeah, I was waiting for my work permit to begin looking for jobs.
Yeah.
And now that I've got it, I'm now
Oh, you
looking
have it
around.
now.
Yeah, I've got my work
Oh,
permit.
excellent. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Oh,
Yeah,
so now you're looking and what area are you looking in for work? Like, what do you hope to get?
I'm looking at the areas that I have studied, if it is in finance, but mainly the one I'm looking at is for the one which is in relation to social work, because that is where my passion is.
Yeah.
Mm,
Oh, that's exciting. That's exciting. Well, good for you. That's a big first step to get that work permit so that you can begin to start doing all the great things you're going to do in this country for us, as well as
yes,
everybody around the world. So awesome. What is your hope for young women? Like, what message would you like young women to fully understand in order to create a life that's strong?
I would want to tell the young women to follow their dreams and be themselves,
Ah,
make decisions on their own, and that make sure that the decisions they are making are those that are taking them forward. Yeah, and not necessarily only young women, but all the people that are out there, because I'm a diverse person also. So
mhm,
sometimes you find that some people, because of their sexuality, they are limited. They feel like because I'm a trans, because I'm a gay man, because I'm a gay woman, I'm a lesbian, there are some things I cannot do in life.
right.
But the good thing here is that there is openness. It is a free world. That is one thing I love most in Canada. It is a free world where everybody does whatever they want without being judged. Because back home, when you have challenges or when you're different, when you're created differently, they don't look at that as something natural. The way they think, when you're created heterosexual, that is when you're normal. And when you're created differently, that is abnormal, and they put the blame on you. You didn't create yourself. You didn't create the hormones that are in you that are making you feel the way you're feeling. So
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, we need to appreciate each other, advise, accept each other, and treat each other with respect, regardless of our sexuality.
I agree. I agree completely. I saw a sign. I don't know if it was on Facebook, somebody posted it, but it was, for all heterosexual people who hate gay people, stop making gay babies.
Yeah, so I actually saw one where a trans person got pregnant and got a child, but there is a lot of hatred in the comments. And for him, the good thing about him is that he's a free guy. He doesn't care what you talk about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I really love that this guy because he's himself and he doesn't care about. Because if he was to care about all the comments that are
Oh,
posted, he would just die of depression.
yeah.
But
I
I
love.
pray that each of us would protect each other and respect each other and accept each other. That is
Yeah.
when we can live in peace.
Well, and I think we have to learn how to like ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
People who are hateful, um, it's not just other people they hate. There's something about themselves that they really
Yes,
judge or hate as well. So it begins with us where we have to love ourselves, care for ourselves, nurture ourselves. And then we
yes,
go out in the world and be more peaceful, accepting. Uh, because I think when we're judging others, that judgment starts right within
yeah,
us, right?
that's true. Even actually, one of the things that I saw, one of the things that I learned from my mentor is that when you love yourself first, you
Mhm.
attract love from outside.
Yes.
and all the others, you will see people liking you, will see people loving you, people treating you with in some kind of way, but it's because of that love on yourself that is attracting them to get to you. No one
Absolutely
wants,
correct.
yeah,
Yeah.
no one wants to associate with a miserable person all the time, with problems all the time. Even when you have problems, they don't have to show on your face that you have problems, because I've gone through hell myself.
Yeah, yeah, you've gotta start where you are. Well, before we
Yeah.
move on, we're gonna take a little commercial break here. So
Mhm.
please don't go away. We will be back in just a minute. You're watching The Joy Show, and my wonderful guest, Jackie, has lots more to share when we come back. We'll be right back.
New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Watch me change when you change the way you look at things. The things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
New Thought Media Network is on the rise. We're looking to grow with you. Do you have technical media experience? Or perhaps a desire to learn? Are you willing to volunteer your precious time and attention? We share this message to benefit all. If you possess a computer with a camera and a microphone, we will share our knowledge with you. Behind the scenes or being the star, let us bless our one. Contact us at info@ntmedia.org.
And we're back. You're watching The Joy Show, and I'm Barbara Schreiner Trudell. And my guest today, Jackie, is from Uganda and is sharing some of the inspiring ways that she helps young women and, well, all people really to see life in a new way. Now, you had shared a flyer with me about ending the silence. Can you tell me something about that convention? I know that's your photo. Silence is not an option. Can you tell me a little bit about that particular project?
No, this was about human trafficking. Yeah, there are so many people who are being trafficked, and at the end of the day, they kill them and remove their internal organs, and they are sold out there for millions of money. So a lot of them have been undergoing that. Others have gone through child sacrifice. One of the reasons why I'm scared about my children is the home where I left my children. A child has ever been stolen from that particular home. And when the police followed up, they found that the baby dead. And the baby was sacrificed according to the information that was discovered. So
Well,
child trafficking, I mean, human trafficking is real and child trafficking is real.
and it's a big problem in Africa, is it?
Yes, it's a very big problem in Africa, and I don't know how we can deal with it. Yeah, but that was just a meeting that was talking about it and what they think can be done. So,
Breaking the silence. That I
yes,
think talking about these things, I think, is the first step where we
yeah,
raise awareness, right?
yes. So whenever I think about that child who was stolen from, the baby was bathed, put in the bedroom to sleep around 2 after lunch. When they came back thinking he has slept too long, they found that the bed empty.
Oh my
And
God.
that is the particular home where my children are, because I didn't have any other home where I thought I would keep my children safely.
Yeah. Because your children are still in Uganda.
Yes.
And do you have any idea of when you might be reunited or when they can be brought over? Is there any news about that yet?
No, the only idea I have is that you have to have got your permanent residence. And then after getting the permanent residence, that's when you can apply to be reunited with your family.
That for me is
Which is a long way.
that is a long way. That to me is a little bit distressing that, if we're bringing people into the country, we're allowing somebody to come into the country. I think when they have infant children or very young children, maybe not adult children, but young children, like let mom bring them. You got here first, then let's go get them and bring them. I,
Yeah.
I I don't understand how immigration can believe it's okay to separate families.
Yeah, but I'm here because of them. Because if I say let me go back home and find my children, still there's nothing I will give them to eat. I will not be able to take them to school. There is also lots of problems that are happening back home.
Yeah, I just would
Yeah.
love to see us do better. I'm grateful that we've got you here, and I
Mm,
know in time we'll have your children as well, but I would like to see the Canadian government change their stance, and I don't know where this gets shown in the US as well. I don't know, well, actually it's shown anywhere people have YouTube. But I think, the Canadian government could do better in saying that, we've allowed mom in. And so because mom is here, she can bring her children over, especially if they're under the age of, say 12 years old or something, so that, like your youngest is a year old, correct?
yeah, 1 year, yes.
Yeah, he should be with you for sure, for sure. And your 4-year-old as well. I mean, yeah, that's just my personal rant. I think your baby should be with you, and that
Mm,
the government should allow that to happen, but that's not the way the rules work.
yeah, especially where you find that back home you're not safe and the children are not safe. Then there should be a measure so that both of you can be together as you wait for the hearing, as you
Yeah.
wait for the rest of the processes, but at least be with the kids.
Yeah, because you showed me pictures of your 4-year-old son that had been beaten by his stepfather.
Yeah. Yeah, the one who was beaten by the stepfather, he up to now that memory will never get out of my mind, because seeing a baby full of strokes on the bums and everywhere, no, it is really hard. So there's no way I could leave my children with him. There's no way I could give him even his own son,
Yeah.
because it is scary.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you have family that you are able to leave your children with that can provide that safety. Um, so moving forward, as you get established and get yourself working and all the fun stuff, what is your biggest hope for the future, for your career? What is it that you believe that you can really bring that is unique to you?
I would like to see I would like to hear the experiences that are here, especially among the youth and the women,
Yeah.
and then I learn from them and see how we can work together. Because one of the most passionate things that I have is seeing women develop themselves without depending on someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if I'll be able to take care of my children without necessarily looking for the father or being with their father, and I'm able to take them to school, I'm able to give them everything that they need,
Yeah.
it will bring me peace of mind, and I'll be able to be more productive and be able to
Yeah.
contribute more, because I've been an activist almost since 2008, and I've been to different countries, talking to different audiences, including funders or donors,
Mhm.
and I have seen what I can do
Can
because I
do a
have
lot.
done it. Yeah, I've done it before back in Uganda, so I want to do it here.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
And becoming an activist, what started that? What got you on that path of activism?
How it started is the person that helped me to regain my confidence,
Hmm.
because I was someone who could not even talk to two people who are together. I would fear the judgment. Especially the judgment every time, because I had grown up knowing no one can never say anything positive to me. I knew that if I'm talking to someone and another person is there, they are going to begin judging me. But this mentor who brought me up and started training me on how to be myself and how to be in public, how to speak in people, how to inspire the youth. Actually, I didn't know I was doing that until when I was already in it. That's when I realized, so this is what it means. So this is how it is changing people. Because in my clinic where I was getting treatment from,
Hmm.
we were there less than about 50 people. But by the time I spent a year doing the work I was doing, there were more than 800 people, 800 young people in
Wow.
less than a year. But because we had gone to different schools, gone to different universities, to different communities, talking about different issues about sexuality, talking about different issues about reproduction, reproductive health, issues about women and girls. So most of them were able to access medical care, because most of them didn't value medical care attention at an early age. Most of us actually in Uganda or in Africa in general, most of us want to first go down and you're bedridden. That's when you think of going to the hospital.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but when we kept on talking to them, encouraging them, most of the young people encouraging them to test for HIV, like that, the clinic for HIV was overwhelmed by the number of young people that came because of the impact that we had created.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some of them were already exposing themselves thinking they are positive, they're HIV positive, and they were not.
Oh my
Because of
goodness.
what the work we were doing, it encouraged them to go and find out whether they are okay or not, and then know how to do positive prevention.
Yeah. And
And
tell us a little bit about that. What is, positive prevention for HIV?
positive prevention is basically about how you can protect yourself to remain negative, and when you're positive, how to remain positive without infecting another person.
Hmm.
Yeah, and that is how we helped most of these young people who were exposing themselves thinking they are already spoiled, they can never prevent. Actually, that is the comment I often got, that there's nothing I can change now, Jackie. I'm already gone. They would call themselves they are already dead. I'm like, you're not dead because you're walking and you're studying, you're doing, because most of them were in schools. You're studying. So when you say you're dead, why are you in school? Dead people are in the grave.
You are remarkable, my dear. You are remarkable.
Yeah.
That's
So I
great.
kept talking to them, and some of them were I actually saved two incidences instantly who were going to commit suicide because they thought they were positive. And when I talked to them and encouraged them to go for an HIV test, they found they were both negative. But
Wow.
they were going to commit suicide that particular day. And I think it is the Spirit of God that led them to me. Because after the talk show, I was on a talk show on a radio talk show, and they had me and they were like, what is this woman talking about? And exactly what was going to make them kill themselves is what I was talking about. So
Wow.
as soon as I completed the show, they called me crying, Jackie, I was just about to take my life, and this is what is happening. Just run and save me.
Oh, that's beautiful. It's interesting how
Mm.
that, the right person shows up at the right time
Yes.
when we're open to getting that message and
Yeah.
having somebody there. That's beautiful. Because of course HIV now is something that's easily managed through
Yes.
medications. And I believe I have it correct to say that if you're properly medicated and you're not the virus isn't active, you actually cannot give it to somebody even though you have it. Am I saying
Yes.
that right? Yeah.
Yeah, that has been proved because
Um,
that is why there is a research that was made, and it is about U equals U. U
right.
means undetectable, and another U means untransmittable. Meaning, once
Okay.
you are undetectable, you cannot transmit, and it
Oh,
is proved. But the problem is that that information has remained with a group of people, like the people who are working with people living with HIV are the ones with that information, the medical doctors and then the researchers themselves. So the information is not publicized. That is where the problem is. Because if it was publicized, the public would know that it's so, which means if let's say I get a sexual partner, or maybe I'm in a relationship with a person who is living with the virus, as
right.
long as the person has turned undetectable, that would mean that they
Okay.
would be able to understand that they cannot get the virus.
So
But
undetectable
because
equals
that,
untransmittable.
yeah, so that information is hidden within a group of people and the public doesn't know it. So it's like we are not doing enough. And me, I'm actually not even looking at U equals U. I'm looking at the cure. I want to see the cure come because so many children, so many young people, so many grandparents, so many people, even the medium age, they are struggling with the virus. They are struggling with the medication. They are struggling, like especially now the effects that have come up with old age.
Yeah,
You've been on treatment for over 30 years. The side effects, some of them are cancerous, some of them have got cancers, some of them have got kidney problems, liver problems because of long-term medication.
of course. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, what I'm advocating for is a cure. You can imagine these children, at least now here, you have small tablets that you give, but back in our countries in Africa, there are huge tablets which you cannot give to a child who is born with the virus. It
Uh,
is very, very hard to administer that medication, especially when it is so huge and so bitter. By the way, I took part in advocating for the bitter pill, which many people had started with,
mhm.
and it was very bitter and very huge. So I was one of the young people that was advocating to get a smaller pill and also which is not bitter.
Yeah, yeah. Because when something
So
tastes
now,
really bad, yeah, that's hard.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So now most young people are happy that now they can be able to take one pill. And of course, when it came, I was excited because that is also what I wanted to see young people um, be happy to take their medicines in order to live longer.
Yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
I mean, there's lots of people who've been living over 30 years with HIV now. Like that's become more of the norm, whereas in the beginning it was a death sentence.
So some of them were beginning to face challenges with adherence to treatment because of the size of the medication they were taking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but over time, now things keep on advancing. But I have seen, when I arrived here, I have seen some of the medicine people take here is different from the one that our people in Uganda take, because the tablets are too huge. Even if now it is at least one tablet, but it is still huge.
Yeah.
So
Ian has a question. From your experience, how does joy manifest for persons living with HIV?
Yes. How does joy manifest? As long as they know that there is life, and they know that there is this treatment that is taking them for as long as they live. Because now we don't have a limit. We are like any other person.
Yeah.
So any other person that is taking medicine, any other person that is not taking medicine, now you cannot tell me. I'm giving an example. Not necessarily that it might be, but I'm giving an example. You cannot look at me and you begin telling me that I'm going to die because of HIV. So that means the looks alone that the medicine has put on people give them joy.
Yes.
That it gives them hope, it gives them energy, it gives them optimism that there is a future ahead of them, rather than that time when they were not sure whether tomorrow they will be alive.
Yeah.
And people were judging them. If you're taking the medicine, it will bring those side effects, where everybody will see that you're really on medication. And that kind of thought alone can actually, one of the things that was discovered is that stigma alone kills more than the HIV does.
Well, I think stigma of all sorts is so painful that it really can affect your will to live when you're treated differently for whatever reason.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
when you don't love yourself, when you begin worrying, worry is the worst killer among people living with HIV. If all the time you're worried, what is going to happen? What is going to happen to my children? What is going to happen to me? That alone will drain you. You will find yourself in the grave. But
It's true.
the joy that we have, which most of the people have got from the medication that they are taking, seeing people being optimistic, seeing most of these young people that have grown up with HIV study, graduate in different professions.
Yeah.
They are born with HIV. They have grown up knowing they have HIV, but they have studied because they have got that enthusiasm. They are so optimistic about their future. They have made positive decisions about their future. They are not looking at HIV as a problem. They are looking at it as an opportunity to do something that is positive to their lives.
Well, really, when it comes down to it, you wouldn't stigmatize a person who had diabetes. Some young person is born with diabetes. Yeah, they're going to be injecting themselves all their lives.
All the time.
But
So
who's
recently, I
judging that?
asked one of the young people who was pursuing someone, and I asked him that, now, what if you find that person is positive? He said, I will take off. So I was like, okay, what if that person, what has attracted you is how you've looked at that person, and you didn't know that that person is with the virus. Now, what if you reach and let's say you pursued someone who is not positive, but then let's say 1 or 2 years, the person has got another disease that has disabled the person to be at home. Then he was like, I would rather stay with the crippled person, but not the one with HIV. So you can imagine the kind of stigma that we have. They don't believe that HIV positive people are productive. Actually, they are more productive than those who are not, because most of the positive ones, they have a focus. But those who are in their normal lives, they feel like life is there all the time and there's nothing to fight for.
Wow. That's really interesting because all life is so valuable and every person is created unique and special. Like we all bring something into the world that is essential, that only we can bring in the manner that we do it. And so when we shut anyone out, we actually limit our own experience of a full
Exactly.
life by doing that.
Mm.
Wow. Good for you. I love you.
I love you too, and I love everybody that is embracing me, everybody that is supporting me, everybody. I've met a special couple here.
Mhm.
I cannot fail to talk about them.
Please do. Please do.
Yeah, I've met a special couple. That is Pastor Dina and her wife Janet.
Yes,
They are
Dina.
the most beautiful souls I've ever met in this world.
Uh,
Because they are very encouraging, very supportive, they are a full package. I
yeah.
really love them. I love them, and I really pray for them that they keep supporting people like us who come when we are hopeless. By the time I arrived here, for sure, I was hopeless. I didn't have hope that I might be someone in future.
Yeah.
But the people that I have met, the the person at where I'm volunteering, our
Mhm.
director Ian
McKnight.
Knight, yeah, he has been like my dad. There's a way he treats people in general, not necessarily me alone, but in general. He's a character that is also very unique.
He is a bundle of love, that man.
Yeah, I have met people,
Yeah.
even yourself. When I first met you, I was like, oh my God, what kind of love is here? So I want to tap on that kind of love so that I spread it also and I give it to those that will need it.
I think you said something earlier that uh, really touches that point, and that is that by loving yourself and looking after yourself, you attract to you more love, more joy. And so I think that's the big message that you've accomplished. You love yourself enough to look after you. And as such, you've attracted Dina and Janet, you've attracted me, Ian, and many others who are supporting and loving you as well, because why not? You are lovable, right? You're
Thank
always smiling,
you.
you're always joyful. It's like it's beautiful to see that. And it's very attracting, right? Like we
Yeah.
attract to us who we are. So no
Yeah.
surprise that you have found a beautiful home with Dina and Janet, and great support with PWA. And
Yes.
it's a nice thing to see. We live in a beautiful world when we support one another, right? Compassion, kindness, respect, those things go a long way.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So moving forward, we're getting close to the end of our show, if you can believe it.
Mhm.
But moving forward, what what do you see happening within HIV that could create a positive shift and help to reduce stigma?
Basically, one thing that I actually thought would never happen to me, which has come back, is that's dealing with self-stigma first.
Okay. Yeah.
Being an HIV activist for a long time, and I've been seeing so many people undergoing a lot of self stigma and a lot of stigma in general from the public.
Yeah.
I found out that here people are not free to talk about HIV in public. Everybody wants to hide themselves. And I think that is what has helped Uganda, because the stigma in Uganda is at least less, because many people can talk about HIV anytime, anywhere.
And
Because
that's the
now
way it
that
needs
is,
to be.
yeah. There are so many organizations that are handling HIV, and they are open, and many people have come up to talk about their positive life, and they are very free about it. And that is what is reducing the rate at which HIV is being transmitted in Uganda. Because if someone is strong enough to tell the sexual partner that, you know what, I'm positive and we need to protect ourselves.
Yeah.
Or if the person is undetected, the problem is that most people don't know that some of them do not some of them do not want to talk about the virus because they fear what is going to come out from the public,
Yeah.
and then also how they are going to be treated. Because
Yeah.
some people, when they talk about themselves that they are living with HIV, they are treated differently than when they were not, when they didn't know their status.
I think there's so much fear, which of course comes from misunderstanding. Like you said, nobody really understands the U equals U, which I think, is a big thing. Like we have to understand what's going on. Like we're not afraid of a lot of other things. Why are we afraid of this? And I think it stems back to in the beginning where people were dropping dead constantly, where
Yeah.
now it's changed everything. So we need to educate, and that happens through conversations. Do you think there's a bit of shame that people have? Like you mentioned, self stigma. Is it a shameful thing for some? Maybe that's why they don't want to share their status with a lover or a friend or.
Um, I've been an intake person, and I've seen why people don't want to share their status to anyone. Because even myself, when I'm doing that kind of work, they even fear to tell me what has brought them, yet they know what they have come to do. So, meaning there's a lot of self stigma, especially here in Canada, and that self stigma makes them fail to go to look for services that can help them. Like you find they don't even know how to get medication because they fear to ask.
Wow.
Some of them don't have medical doctors. Some of them are still new people who have just arrived. They don't know where to go. And instead of talking to someone, they instead hide. And some of them come when they are already a month plus without taking the medication because they are fearing to disclose to anybody.
Well, and they're
And another thing that is causing self-stigma, I think, is the discrimination, I mean the criminalization that is here. Because I was reading about it, and they were talking about being criminalized if you you knew you were HIV status, but you didn't disclose it to the person you're relating.
right. Well,
Yeah,
we're at
so
the end
some
of
of
our
them.
time. Jackie, we're going to have to do this again because
Mhm.
we've only just opened up a can of information here, and we're at the end of our time. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really grateful you're here. Would you consider coming back next week if you could talk Ian into letting you do that so we could talk a little bit more about HIV?
Yes.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you, sweetie. You're doing remarkable work. I'm really grateful that you're here in Toronto. I'm grateful to know you personally. That's a gift as well. And I look
Thank
forward
you.
to seeing you again really, really soon. And we'll get Ian to approve you being here again next week so we can expand this conversation.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
for
you, my dear.
inviting me.
You're welcome. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year too.
Bye, everybody. This has been The Joy Show. Thank you for watching, and please do share, subscribe, and join us again next week. Bye for now.
On behalf of everyone at New Thought Media Network, thank you for being a member of our virtual family. Your financial contributions help share the New Thought message with people from around the world. Please visit and contribute at www.ntmedia.org/donate. New Thought Media Network, come be you. And please like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, peace and blessings.